Hey, creative souls, word witches, writers. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm happy that you're here. My name is Johnny. I'm a published fiction writer and a retired adjunct writing professor. For 2 decades, I help college students get their words on the page. Now I teach fiction writing and screenwriting to adults in custody. I call myself a word witch, and I believe I'm on this earth to heal the world through stories, whether it's the ones that I write and tell or the ones that I help you write and tell. I'm growing my YouTube channel, so if you hear something here that resonates, that helps you in some way, I would really appreciate your likes and shares and subscribes. Because the more I can grow this channel, the more I can do in my quest to heal the world through story. Because as I always say, stories can heal the world, so let's do it together. Today I want to talk about the upcoming full moon in Sagittarius and talk about how we can use it to enhance our writing practices. So to start with, this full moon nudges us to really connect with our inner voices and to live more authentically and to not shy away from those truths that we carry around inside us. And this is essential for writers, right? Because the more willing we are to let those truths that live inside us come out, even if it scares the hell out of us, if we let those pour onto the page, the better we can write and the lighter we're going to feel. So Sag is ruled by Jupiter, and so that means part of the energy around this full moon is that of expansion and luck and optimism. And it's really about fertility and manifestation. So it's a very mutable time. Things can shift and change fairly easily. And again, this is really great for us writers because we can use this time to really expand on our writing, expand our practice, whether that means writing more often, more easily, and like I said earlier, to really get to some of those things we carry inside us that we might be afraid to let out and for others to know about. So our emotions also during this time will be more deeply felt, which also helps those of us who write, because the better we can access those deep emotions that we have inside us, the better we can write. Because as I talk about a lot, when we write, we have to do this dance of sorts where we step into the subjective experience and really feel things so that we can render our characters more human-like on the page. And then we also step out of that sphere and step into the sphere of objectivity. So we're more like the reporter reporting on that which we felt when we were in that subjective state. So let yourself feel whatever you're going to feel. Let it inform your characters and your stories. And then take that time that you need to kind of step back from it and just evaluate the meaning of the feelings and the stories and the characters that came from it. So think of this full moon as a spotlight from the cosmos that will allow us to look back, not so much in a nostalgic sort of way with longing for the past, but as a way to look back and really acknowledge the progress that we've made, especially in your writing practice. Think about progress you've made on a project or maybe on being more committed and showing up more for your writing. And you can think about this on the project level. So how far have you come on your novel since you started it? How far have you come on the short story that you're working on? And we can think about also in terms of time, how much have you accomplished in your writing in the past week or month, or even since the beginning of the year or within the past year. And I always talk about this, like I think celebrating our wins, no matter how small they might seem to us, is really important. I have started doing this in the past year or so, and it's really made a difference in maintaining my positivity about my writing and everything else. And find your own unique ways to celebrate your wins, your progress, your accomplishments. Recently, I've been getting a lot of those good rejection letters for this particular short story that I've written. Those good rejection letters that say, we don't want this one, but please send us something else. So those are always exciting to get. And agreed, not as exciting as a yes, but it tells me that, these publications like my writing. They like something about what I do. And so when I get those, I do something special for myself. I go buy a mocha because I love mochas and it feels like a really special treat. And so it just reinforces those grooves in my brain that, okay, this is a good thing, keep doing this. do more of this. Also, really think about what you need to keep doing in your writing practice or on a specific writing project. What is it you need to keep doing that will help you keep moving forward? So it's really important to get clear about what those things are. Just as important is to think about and get really clear about the things you need to let go of. So what are things that might be getting in the way of your practice or a project that you're working on? If you've been really going kind of head to head with your protagonist because they won't behave the way you want them to, then maybe you need to let go of something. Maybe you need to let them breathe a little bit and show you what it is they're trying to do. So think about, if you have a habit that might be interfering with your ability to write. If the only time you have to write is late at night when everybody's in bed and you love your glass of wine as a nightcap, but it makes you sleepy, then that might be something you have to change. Or if you find yourself watching back-to-back episodes of a TV show, that could be eating into time you could be writing. Or if you take every phone call from that friend of yours that has to call and then talk and talk and talk, and you find it hard to get off the phone. So think about things in your life that have become habitual that you could cut back on that will allow you more time to write and to be more focused when you do write. Also think about, do you have a section in your novel, do you have a character in a story that is really not serving any productive purpose that you can remove and make the story or the novel a little bit more lean? Do you have a belief about yourself as a writer that absolutely needs to be kicked to the curb? So if you have any negative thoughts about who you are as a writer, the quality of your writing, the success you might see as a writer, now is the time to get rid of that. Just cross it off the list, purge it from your mind, and don't let it affect your ability to write because it's not true, all right? So any time is a good time to make changes like this, but over these next couple weeks with the energies that are swirling around us, it'll make it that much easier to accomplish them. So this full moon also raises our inner energy. Think about how the moon pulls the ocean to the shore. That's what it's doing inside us as well. So that means your creative energies will be easier to access, they'll be more plentiful, and they'll be more consistent. So really in the next couple weeks, focus on capitalizing on that. Keep in mind also that full moons illuminate more. The light that shines from the full moon covers a lot more territory than, say, a new moon when there's more darkness. We can take this literally, we can also think of it metaphorically. So a full moon can also shine brighter, wider, more comprehensive light on us too, in terms of what we carry inside us, what we have to offer, and all that good, rich fodder that lives inside us that we oftentimes don't have access to, that lives in our subconscious. Operating with this kind of energy and really, embracing it and leaning into it can make us feel more vulnerable because it's not always easy to feel those big feelings and have those big thoughts. Even to ourselves, if we don't even share them with someone else, we can still feel sort of opened up and a little raw sometimes. But I really encourage you to allow that to happen and, maybe sit in a safe, quiet space where you can just have no interruptions and really let yourself ponder your story idea, your protagonist, or maybe even your supporting characters or antagonist, and really listen to what they have to say and listen to your own feelings around that. Notice any thoughts or ideas that come up. And if something new or surprising comes up, write it down, keep track of those things, because I've talked before about this idea of when we don't get our words on the page, how it affects us, what it does to our minds and our spirits and even our physical bodies. Getting that outside of ourselves leaves room for more to blossom and grow. So let the light of this full moon metaphorically help you see further, help you see more, and allow you to do more. As I mentioned before, Sag is expansive. It's also very visionary. So you may find yourself feeling the need to go a new direction with something that you're already working on, or maybe start something new. Sag is also very optimistic. So I hope that you'll pick up on that, really feel it, and let it infuse your writing practice. So to summarize just a bit, over the next 2 weeks, it's a supreme time to take some positive steps, to make positive changes that will enhance your writing practice and your writing life. And these changes don't necessarily have to be directly about the writing or your practice. It can be anything in your life that will create positive change that will then have this trickle down effect and improve your ability to write. So for example, I have a new workout regimen, finally. And I will admit, it hasn't become second nature to me yet. Those grooves of recognition in that, going to the gym or lifting the weights at home, it's not become second nature yet, but I'm getting there. So I used to work out on a regular basis, and it was just like brushing my teeth. I just knew, I have to go to the gym today. I have to do whatever it is I do to keep my body fit and feeling strong. But I've finally been able to actually start getting back to the gym on a regular basis. Right now it's 3 nights a week, and I will build on that once it does become second nature. But I finally did it because I was able to at last remember that feeling that I had when I used to work out regularly. What I know for me is that when I'm working out on a regular basis and my body is responding positively, obviously if it was hurting me, I couldn't keep doing it, but I know that I have more energy when I'm working out. I know that I sleep better when I'm working out. And when my muscles start to respond and get more firm from the weightlifting, and I'm not talking big, intense weights, they're just small. But eventually over time, when my muscles respond and get more firm, I start to feel stronger. And when I feel stronger physically, I feel stronger in all ways. And so I do know for me that when I have a good workout regimen, it definitely positively impacts my writing practice, my ability to think and focus. So I know that it's hard to make changes. If you're wanting to make some kind of change and you're finding it hard to make it happen, I'll tell you how I make changes in my life, and maybe it will help you. And it sounds, when I tell you what it is, it's going to sound very simple, but it's a really powerful trick that I've learned that makes a difference for me. I simply privilege the thing I want to do or change or make happen in my mind. So what do I mean by that? I mentioned before about wearing these grooves of recognition in my brain. I know that there are things in my life that I do out of deeply entrenched habits that have formed over time because I've worn those grooves in my brain. For example, my morning routine, I just get up and do it and I don't think about it. And I don't think, okay, I did this first, then I have to do that next, and then that next. I've been doing it so long and it serves me well that I've kept doing it, and I don't even have to think. I just do it, and it gets my morning off to a really good beginning. It didn't just happen magically though. It's something that I worked on over time. And then when I found, this really helps my morning get off to a good beginning, I kept doing it. And that's not to say that I'm not intentional about these things, because I am. Everything I do in my morning routine, I do it with intention, but it comes with ease, and I am not forcing myself to do something. It's simply ingrained in my brain and my nervous system, so it just happens. And that's what I'm working towards with my workouts. And I realized that some of my habits have become so ingrained that I didn't have any time left in my day for my workout. And so I really had to give a lot of thought to how important are some of those other things. I can easily justify doing something mindless, which, I'm not saying we never do that. I think it's important for us to do so-called mindless things that calm our minds and calm our nervous systems. But then I have to ask myself, well, how much of that is needed? Am I using that as an excuse to, I don't like the word lazy, I never use it, but am I using that as an excuse to not do this other thing that is going to benefit me? And the answer was yes, I was doing that. So I decided to privilege my workout in my mind. And the way that looks for me is when I make my to-do list for the week every Sunday evening, my workout absolutely goes on my list, and I put it there in a bright color that I won't miss, and I put it at a specific time, and I set several timers a day for myself because my brain needs that for different things that I need to do. And it's on my calendar, and it's also set by a timer on my phone. And so by making it a priority, and I tell myself on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because those are the days I work out, getting my workout in is the most important thing for that day. And does that mean I let everything else go? No. I know that those things that are ingrained in me, like doing client work, preparing for my class that I teach at the prison, those things are going to happen because I'm just used to doing them, and they've become second nature for me. Once I get these 3 nights a week down to kind of a second nature status, then I will start building on that, and I will add another day and another day and another day. And I will eventually get to the point where I used to be, where if I did not work out, I didn't feel right. Something felt off to me. And so that's what I'm striving for. And as I said earlier, I know that when I get my workouts down and when I start to realize the benefits, the mental and physical and emotional benefits of these regular workouts, it will definitely positively impact my writing practice. So by keeping my workout at the forefront of my mind, they are happening, and I know that they will keep happening. Give that a try. And again, like I said, I know it sounds simplistic, but there is something about keeping a thing at the forefront of my brain and making it the most important thing I need to work on. Really works for me. So give it a try. I hope it works for you. I would love to hear if it does, or if you have other ways of changing habits, let me know in the comments. So in closing, I would like to say, use this time over the next 2 weeks to really move any stagnant energy or habits that you have that are not beneficial to your writing practice in whatever way makes sense to you. And just remember that any changes you make directly to your practice or to your writing will just create a greater chance of succeeding. All right, so that's it. As always, I send you mad writing mojo. Happy writing.